Hey guys, it's Barb. I'm hoping everyone's having a marvelous Monday. Um, so it's pretty humid out today, so I look like a disaster, but I'm not really worried about that. Um, at least not right now. So today's episode, I'm going to talk about taking ownership. Like a lot of times in life, we can feel powerless, and I feel like when we feel powerless, a lot of it is because sometimes we're blaming others for something that didn't work out. We're blaming something else. And I feel like even though bad things can happen to us, like a bad relationship or a bad job or just, a bad experience in general, bad purchase of a car, anything really, it a lot of times when we part ways with the other party, we feel like, oh, it's their fault that this went wrong, or this just didn't work out because, this was the situation, or this person did me wrong, or whatever, or the company, or whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever the other party, company, person, whatever, may have wronged you, okay? And a lot of times that's true. I was in a relationship where I was always like, oh, I need you to buy me this, or I need you to buy me that. Well, I was a single mother, and I wasn't buying that kind of, I wasn't going to go and spend money on someone for something they wanted that wasn't a necessity when I had all these bills to pay, and a roof to keep over my children's heads. So, that person would be like, oh, well, I'll slash your tires, and just things like that. It was just toxic, the whole relationship. But, I feel like owning that person did do me wrong 100%. I'm not going to say that they didn't, and in the same situations that you're probably in, but I feel like also that person, why was that person allowed to do that? Who allowed it? Who had that person in their life to allow it to happen? That was me. I made the choice to be with that person, and it was a bad choice, and at the end of the day, I learned from it. But instead of just blaming that person for all the stuff that they did and ruining my life, I owned the fact that everything, everything is pretty much, a lot of things can happen that are unexpected, and they're out of our control. But a lot of the things are within our control, and as long as we own that, even if something happens at a place that we're at, we chose to be at that place. We brought ourselves to that place. You know what I mean? So I feel like, in a nutshell, if you own the fact that, hey, a lot of bad things happened, it gives you the idea that, hey, I can also create good things to happen by making better choices, by thinking things through, by not rushing into something, or, for example, I've left a job before. I've left one job to go to another job, and that second job that I left to go to wasn't exactly what I thought it would be, but I think I was just so desperate to get out of the other job because I was unhappy that I just jumped into the very first thing that came along to relieve me from that. So I guess I learned not to be so reactory to life, I guess, not so quick to judge my next move. Don't just jump into something without planning it out. So the questions I asked myself, for example, after I came to that realization that the things that have happened, the bad relationships, the bad things that I've allowed into my life and put myself in those situations, were within my control to change sooner, I started making better decisions. I had a part-time job in retail, and I wasn't happy there. They had me coming in 4-hour days 4 times a week, and I asked them if I could go do 2 full days and get my 16 hours in 2 days instead of 4 days to get 16 hours. Sorry if I keep wiping my face. I've got a sty for my allergies and rubbing my eyes and stuff like that. I have a sty now. I've irritated my eye. So, but that's not the point. But anyway, so that job that I was just, they told me that they weren't going to be able to let me do that, because if they allowed me to do that, then they would lose a half an hour productivity, because I would have to take a lunch. And that has got to be the cheapest thing I've ever heard a company who's making a lot of money say. That's ridiculous. Just because you lose, you're not paying for that half-hour lunch. It's somebody's literally clocking out, so you're not really losing anything. But okay. So in any event, I decided to find another job. So this time I looked around and took my time and selected the one that would be best for me, and I was able to find something that was Saturday, Sunday, and it was 2 full days. So I didn't have to keep going back and forth for 4 hours. So that was a good thing. So hopefully, now that I've learned that, I'm going to make sure that when I go moving forward, I will always be making an educated choice, like not just jumping into things, like actually taking my time, deciding if it's actually what it says it is. Just do a little background investigation on the place. Ask people who worked there before, look it up online. Just talk. Maybe go in somewhere and ask someone before other people that work there currently. See how the atmosphere is before you go. So yeah, I don't really have a lot tonight. This is going to be a shorter video. I have a bunch of things that are going on at the same time, so I'm trying to manage all of that. And I think I briefly touched on this topic in a previous video. It was like a little ADHD kind of trail that we took, but I'm hoping that helps someone. And I hope everyone tries to stay cool. I don't know, I'm sure I don't know where everybody's going to be who's watching this, but hopefully it's cool where you are. It's not cool here. It's very humid and very hot. The feels like temperature, I think, is almost 10 degrees hotter than it actually is, and it's already in 90, so yeah, it's kind of gross and sticky. I just came in from taking the dogs out, so I'm definitely kind of I want to all sticky, but I wanted to make this video before it got much later. It was already past my 8 o'clock usual posting time, so I will be recording another one probably later tonight, late, probably after 11 or midnight, but I'll be recording that one so I can have it automatically released on Wednesday, because trying to do these before the time is just getting to be, it's causing me I guess anxiety, because I'm oh my gosh, it's getting closer and closer to the time I'm supposed to post. Tonight I'm late, and that was giving me anxiety. So I'm going to take the anxiety out of it by changing my behavior and trying to record these in advance so that they can be scheduled to drop, and I don't have to be so last minute with everything. I want this to get better, and like I said, I'm working on the area. I made another dent. I tackled another area of this closet yesterday, and so needless to say, once it's all finished, I'll show everyone. It's going to be a nice, cozy little spot and comfortable. And then hopefully by then I will also be a little more organized in the presentation, I suppose. But I appreciate everybody that is watching and returning, because I have a very good return rate. And I appreciate everyone that's returning to watch my next videos. So if you like the video, please share with somebody that you think might need it, comment something about this video or something else, or maybe an idea of a video you might want me to post about, or if you ask a question about some topic of life or part of life or whatever, and I've been through it and I can talk from my experience, because all these videos are just my experience and how God and regular, I guess self-therapy, I guess I call it, self-reflection, whatever, how that's helped me, so that maybe somebody who's out there and needs a life preserver can grab on, and maybe, I want to make it a community, so where anybody that's got ideas can share in the comments. So please comment, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you all, and until Wednesday, God bless.